Hey, what's up, guys? I hope you're enjoying the Be the Difference podcast. If you are, I got a huge favor to ask. Go on to Apple Podcasts, leave a 5-star review for us. It helps us immensely with algorithms and growth because we grow completely by word of mouth, organically. That's why there are no ads. Also, feel free to share this content with somebody you think might get value out of it. Last, if you don't know, I also do coaching to help people become the best version of themselves, starting with physical fitness, going all the way through mindset, sales, and leadership. If you're interested in learning more, there's going to be a link in the description of the podcast. You can schedule a time. It's a free assessment. All I'm going to do is have a conversation with you and see if I can even help you. I look forward to speaking to all of you. Continue to enjoy the podcast, and remember to always be the difference. What's up, everybody? It's Greg Birch with Delta Financial, and this is the Be the Difference podcast. This podcast is all about making you a better person in your life and in your business with coaching on sales, leadership, mindset, marketing, everything under the sun when it comes to being an entrepreneur. We bring on guest speakers. Today, I've got the honor and pleasure of welcoming Mr. Scotty Abourisk. Abourisk. Man, I'm usually good at these. I usually call it and I pronounce it right. You're one of the first ones I don't, man.
No one ever gets it right, honestly, so don't feel ashamed.
Okay. Scotty, how you doing, brother?
Doing great, bro. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. This is going to be a good podcast. I can already tell the energy between us ever since he first came on. We just started talking. We're mind melding right now. So
oh yeah, dude, we're in there.
We're in it. So for those of you that don't know Scotty, he's passionate about board sports enthusiasm. Trainer, lifelong learner, and he's learned over the years how to overcome hardship, cultivate persistence, and stay motivated through adversity. From those lessons, he's learned how to help others gain control of their lives, beat the odds, and become masters of their life. He is also a fellow 75 hard completionist. And I sure we're going to talk about a lot of stuff. This is going to be great.
Dude, hell yeah. I'm looking forward to it. Let's go.
It's going to be great. So let's talk about your journey, man. How did this even start? How old are you, by the way?
I'm 30.
Okay. I was going to say like 23.
I'm aging very well. I get that a lot. Everyone thinks I'm in my low 20s or teenagers. I get like 18 and I'm like, bro, oh my God. I can't look that young, but I guess I do.
Do you still get carded?
I don't drink, so it's not even a problem.
Okay.
I'm lame, bro. I partied a lot when I was younger and I got it all out of my system. So it's so beyond me. I don't even like think about it anymore.
Yeah. That's good, man. It's good. It's a good habit to get away from, right? To this break.
Yeah,
it's something like, hey, it's okay to have a drink every once in a while if that's your thing. There's nothing wrong with it. But I think what happens is that it's used as a coping mechanism to numb pain, to numb anxieties, and then it becomes habitual and it becomes an overconsumption tool that can ruin your life. And that's where it's problematic. I think that most people, the highest majority of people that do drink, they use it for a coping mechanism. They use it to numb.
Dude, absolutely. And I see it all the time with friends, especially growing up in board sports, skateboarding, snowboarding, surfing. Those dudes are the worst. They drink and smoke like there's no tomorrow. And I never understood it. I'm like, what are you running away from? Like, what's wrong with like the reality that we're currently living in? Like, I don't understand what's really going on, but everyone's got their own demons and that's their way of coping with them, unfortunately. And it's detrimental to their mental state and it affects you long-term, makes you depressed. It
perpetuates that depression. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, so much. It's really bad. And it's weird how normalized it is too. You look everywhere, there's billboards for beer, casually drinking. Thirsty Thursdays is like regular. It's just like such a normal part of culture, but there's so many like bad things on the back end of it that no one talks about or it's not discussed or like accepted. So everyone's just like, oh, whatever, just, another shot, dude. It's all good. Just keep the party going. But
and also people normalize it when people when so when how many times have you seen it or heard about it, heard story like it's unending in terms of, oh yeah, someone so and so got so drunk last night, he did this, that, the other, she like made her ass for herself, and everyone just laughs it off, and it's like,
oh, I know, dude, yeah, and it's just like, dude, those
that's
were
not
like
okay,
life
that's not okay
moments.
behavior.
Yeah,
And it
no,
was like, oh, when they were drunk, it's okay. No, it's not okay.
yeah, exactly.
It's
Dude,
not okay to have
I
that
was
behavior at
literally
all.
I was in Beverly Hills the other day walking to this grocery store, and these ladies were walking across the street and drunkenly like fell over in the middle of the street and were like laughing and like hanging out in the street, like having a little party. But I was like, fuck, you guys are literally in traffic. Like, and you're drunk, but it's like, oh, it's all good. We're just like partying, don't worry about it. And it's like,
Yeah,
dude, that's how you get killed. Like things like that happen,
yeah.
and your life can be over. So
Yeah, no, absolutely. And um so talk about did you, have you had this may not be like what we're going to talk about. We're already talking about. Let's go down this rabbit hole, right?
we're in there.
Did you have like a moment where you were drinking too much and you're like, dude, I got to get out of this, right? Because you talked about having like getting that all out of your system. Was there
Yeah.
any like moments in time where you're like you came to realization like, dude, I got to get this out of my life?
Yeah, waking up hungover and realizing I had no more money because I spent it all to get hungover, and
Yeah,
nothing came of the night. I wasn't making a lot of money when I was younger, so the money that I would have, I would, instead of saving it or investing it, I would go and party with it because all of my friends got allowances and stuff, so it was never a problem for them, but it was like a lot for me. But I wanted to like hang out with them, so I would spend the money that I had to hang out with them, not realizing it was destroying my health, my youth, and my finances completely. So it was probably like there was one time like I had rent to pay and I went out and partied and I don't remember any of the night, but I remember when I went in there, I had like $2,200. And when I left, I had like $400. And I was like, what the fuck just happened? Like, where did all my money go? And then I talked to some friends and they're like, dude, you're like buying everyone shots. You spent like $1,000 on shots on like a bunch of random people that you don't know. And we didn't know. We were just like, all right, fuck it. I guess he's doing that. And yeah, that was kind of like a huge catalyst to be like, all right, this is completely fried. Like I have to get as far away from this as possible. And that was like it was the absolute catalyst that just like turned me off from it completely.
yeah, yeah. Did you are blessed to have realized that at such a young age.
Yeah, I know.
Some people don't. Either they have those signs and they blow them off, and they're just like,
Yeah,
man, it's okay. Like I'll just, it'll be all right, and then they
I'll
just do
figure
it
it
again, and
out.
they get that cycle, and they let it control their life to such a way that it literally like it ruins their life, and it may not ruin it in the sense of like, hey, your life is over, but they're definitely 1000% not tapping into their potential. They're not becoming a better version of themselves. They're not achieving all the greatness that they can achieve when they have a clear mind and a healthy body, and their finances aren't being wasted on, on alcohol or on partying or on like that wasteful shit, man. You
Dude, yeah.
know? So like
It's like
you realize that at a young age, man, like you bypass some shit, bro.
I know. Well, it's because dude, I started when I was like, I don't know, like 17, 18. So I started later. Most of my friends were drinking and stuff when they were like 14, 15.
Mhm.
So I was like, I was a pussy. I was like, dude, I don't do drugs, I don't drink, like whatever. Was never down, but I would hang out with them. So I'd still be like in the circles and it's slowly consuming. And then from like 18 to 22, I was just like a loose cannon, as most kids are in college. And then it was like right after college, the college era, I moved out to California. And this is where like I had to pay rent and like do all these things for myself. And then this is where that thing happened. And I was like, all right, fuck this. This is stupid.
Yeah.
So I know kids that are still my age of 30, 31, 32, and they still are drinking. They're still going out and partying and they're still like having a good time. And it's like, dude, when are those good times going to end? Like,
Yeah,
isn't
and if you
winning
look at
more
their life, they're like, "Yeah, but I'm having fun and I get to enjoy friends and this, that, the other." But it's like, but where are you at in your life?
exactly? And like, where are you going?
Yeah,
Like, where, like maybe the other kids have like trust fund babies and like their lives figured out or whatever, and they're like going out casually. But if it's like your life, then like what's the end goal? Where are you going to be in the next 1,000 days? You're still going to meet the bar with the same people doing the same thing, because like if that's really where you want to be, then by all means do it. But if that's not where you want to be, then you have to like snap out of it sooner than later, because if not, you're going to be right there at the dive bars with those dudes on Tuesday afternoons talking about like what they were and what they could have been. You know, your life just like melts away, and it's all like in a flash of the pan, because like you don't realize how negatively impacting your habits are until time catches up.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, holy shit, I've liver problems and like I have diabetes and like all these problems now. And it's like, yeah, if you just snap out of it 10, 15 years ago and stopped drinking, ate better, took care of your health, you wouldn't be in this position.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And for me, I think the great realization came to me when I did 75 hard the first time.
Oh, really?
Getting out way, because I've never like, don't get me wrong, I had plenty of times where I got way too drunk and like made a fool of myself when I was in
Yeah.
college and shit like that. But like I was always big about like I have a high alcohol tolerance. I'm just a big dude, right? Like I'm 6'7". You can't tell right now, but I'm 6'7".
Oh,
Right now
sick.
I'm like 240. Right. And so
Really?
I've always been like between 250 to 230 ish, kind of like always ranging between there, depending on if I'm cutting or building or whatever. Like right now I'm bulking. And
Nice.
so um I've always had a high alcohol tolerance where I can just drink and drink and drink. And I think it's just my metabolism plus my size.
Yeah.
So man, on any given night I would have 5 or 6 bourbons, and I know I wouldn't get drunk, but I would drink it, and and what I didn't realize is it was impacting me. It was impacting my health, and it was impacting my ability, my mind's ability to problem solve, to execute at a high level, etc. And also, anytime I had a difficulty in life or a challenge in life, I would just go straight to drinking because I didn't have to think about it, right?
Yeah.
And I always had relationship issues, like romantic love interest issues and stuff like that, where a girlfriend broke up or this, that, the other. And I would go to the bar and I would go drink, and then I'd meet a girl, and then I'm like, now I'm having this meaningless relationship or fling or whatever, and it was just wasteful for my time, it was wasteful for my business, and I spent a lot of money doing it. Um, and when I finally one day I was listening to the Andy's podcast, and dude, it was 2021, it's February 2021, just over 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was the episode Omar v 75 Hard. I'll fucking never forget this, bro. And it was like this, it was the Saturday after Valentine's Day, which I think was like the 18th, if I remember the date correctly. I think it was the 18th of February 2021. Someone go
Mhm.
fact check that. But I'm sitting there listening to Jim, and I had just, just ended a relationship, and I was super depressed, and I was like really focused on work. We've been broken up for like 2 months, but I was still like hung up, man. I was really effed up in the head. And I listened to his podcast, and he was just like, dude, it's like, you got to do this. It's going to change your life. He was just like, dude, you will be a different fucking person at the end of this. Like, you will be a different human being, a different man. You got to go through it. And so everything he said was just resonating with me. I was like, this is it. This is the answer. And I just committed. Dude, so many problems melted away from my life
Oh yeah.
when I realized that I was making so many excuses with all the alcohol I was drinking, and the productivity I was missing out on, and the growth, the personal growth, the professional growth. And when I got done, I had zero desire to go back and drink alcohol. Now, don't get me wrong, I have drank alcohol, but I've done it in much more moderation. I don't go partying, go crazy. But ever since then, like, I had a period of time where I drank after 75 hard a little bit, and I was like, I felt so guilty. I was like, I'm losing all the fucking growth that I had, that I jumped right back into 75 hard again. And I was like, fuck this, man. I'm not doing this. This is not, no. And
Dude.
I've
Yeah.
just been doing it back to back almost ever since.
Really?
Yeah,
Man, it's a vicious cycle, bro.
it is. And
It grabs
you can fall off that,
the
that
bandwagon.
high horse. You get on the bike, and you're getting momentum and you have discipline in your life, and all, it really does change the person you are, right? And this, which is crazy, as I wore I don't know why I wore this shirt, but I did today. As soon as Scotty saw me, he was like, I like the shirt, bro. Like, you can lose that very quickly. You can go backwards to the person you are. And what I realized is that I'm at, like, that is one of my weaknesses, one of my challenges. And a part of me, like, dude, I want to go out and, like, cause I'm a social person.
Yeah.
I want to go out and talk to people. I want to go have drinks. I want to go connect with people and do that. I want to go eat a bunch of greasy shit food. Right. And, like, eat a bunch of tater tots, bro. I love potatoes. I love potatoes. Some loaded potato tots with some brisket, bro. I'm in.
Over.
It's game over. But, like, now I don't do that stuff. I feel healthier. And when I look at it, I'm like, it almost makes me sick looking at it. I'm like, dude, I would have ate like 5 of those things.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's when you gain control. That's the mindset shift.
Yeah.
You're not controlled by the food. The food doesn't control you. The alcohol doesn't control you. You control your consumption of those things. But it takes time away from it to understand that you have the power to gain control over it.
Yeah.
Like, I used to not be able to go to a plate, like, dude, like Super Bowl events, like things like that, where there's like a bunch of hors d'oeuvres and stuff. I would just pile on. I would eat so much of everything, feel like shit the next day, but I had no control. I would eat the one nacho, which would lead to like 4 of these and 12 of those. And, like, next thing I know, I'm like drunk. I ate like 6,000 calories of food, and, like, I feel like shit and I'm falling asleep.
Yeah.
Dude,
that's another piece of it, is the food that you eat, the food in combination with alcohol, the calories you drink from the alcohol, because you don't realize that, like, all these mixed drinks and beers, etc., wine, whatever, all those calories add up, and you don't realize, like, how many calories you're actually putting into your body. And it's the worst calories also. And then you wonder why there's so, like, the obesity and the overweight, the amount of people that are overweight in America is so fucking high. And I like, honestly, like, when you look at one of the questions you said earlier, one of the things, like, I don't like how it's so normalized.
Yeah, I know.
To party, eat in excess, drink in excess, and party, even though it has all these negative connotations, or these negative end states, right? There's no negative connotation to it. It's like, oh, it's okay. Like, you only live once. YOLO, bro. YOLO. Yeah. And so what happens is that you have all these people that are losing control of their ability to decide for themselves. And, like, no, like, do I like, yes, you know what? I'll go to the Super Bowl party now. I don't mind. And when everyone's sitting there eating, I'm not going to eat the same shit. I'm probably going to eat ahead of time. I'm going to eat a filling meal that's going to be healthier. So when I get there, I'm not going to be like, oh man, I'm super starving. Let me go and shove this in my mouth. Because I'm telling you, once I get that one chip in my mouth, 1,000 chips are going in my mouth. It's happening.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's happening.
I mean, dude, it's engineered to do that. They tap dopamine receptors in your brain, so you can't not eat it.
Yeah.
They've spent hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars to make this stuff irresistible.
Yeah.
That's why it's so hard. That's why it's so hard to get away from it.
And that's why it's so normalized. And honestly, I feel like it's meant to make us weaker. It's meant to make us and have an inability to really control our actions and make it decide for ourselves what's the best, and that makes us more controllable.
Dude, yeah. That's exactly what it is. I mean, look at what just happened with COVID.
Yeah.
That was
absolutely
all control, man. I mean, you know, it's sad, honestly, because I think that humans have, like, way more supernatural capabilities, like, to power themselves from within, but it's so hindered down by, I'm assuming, big pharma, because, I mean, if we look at the scope of who owns everything, there's like 7 major conglomerates that own every single corporation that exists out there. Mm-hmm. Right. And then all those 7 are owned by Vanguard and BlackRock. Is that right? Is that, like, how
that's about right? Yeah. So we can do some research, but I mean, this is also off the cuff.
This is the tinfoil hat thing where Danny talks about.
Yeah, we put the tinfoil hat on. But it's honestly, if you look, if you follow the breadcrumbs, right? Yeah. And you look at all this and, like, how things are perpetuated, how things, like, what is being promoted by these big companies, right? It's being promoted to like overdrink, overeat. Hey, it's okay to be overweight. Like, I was listening to Amy's podcast this morning, and and he was like, he said he saw an ad of somebody that was like, oh man, it was like Diet Coke. If
Oh
you
yeah,
drink,
no, Diet Coke like increases testosterone or something.
increases testosterone. I was like, that's the biggest bullshit lie.
Dude, like insane.
Yeah, and then like you'll see people that are like 400 pounds, you know, and way overweight, like obese overweight. It's like, oh, this is healthy to be this way and be proud of it. I'm sorry, but if you're that much, you're not happy about it. And that's
Oh,
fine. You
dude.
shouldn't be.
Yeah,
There's nothing.
exactly.
That's not shaming anybody. Like
No.
you've gotten to a point where you should be like, okay, something's got to change. Like
Yeah,
for me to get up out of bed, I'm getting winded.
exactly.
Like that's a problem.
That is a problem.
Like I don't want to live that way. Like
No,
you don't
not a
have to be.
chance.
You don't have to go to the gym every single day, twice a day. Like what
No.
I'm doing, I do it because I love it, right? Like
Yeah.
I've gotten to a point where like this fuels me, like it inspires me to do more and see how far I can push my body. You don't have to do that, but you can also be healthier. You can get active, you can move, you can eat healthier, you can remove alcohol, remove toxins from your body, and you can live a happier, fulfilling, healthier life, right?
It's easy. It's literally just a choice. You
Yeah.
make the right choices, they compound over time, they lead to uplifting or degrading results. You've made poor choices, which led to you becoming overweight, and those choices are easily unwindable. So you can rewind in some better choices that lead to a better outcome.
Mhm.
It's just, it's natural. I mean, we develop these habits, and you can undevelop habits and redevelop new habits. It takes time. It's not easy. Change is always hard. Excuse me. Change is like probably one of the hardest things for anybody to do.
And it has to come from within, by the way.
Sorry.
It has to come from within.
Oh, always.
Like you're sitting here listening to this, and this may inspire you to think differently, and you may be like, you know what, like Greg and Scotty are onto something. It's not us that are causing you change; it's your own feelings. Like we're probably just tapping into something. If this does touch you, that's awesome. Like leave a comment in below on the video, or put it in a review, right? And I want to hear from you because I want to help, but it's not Scotty or me. It's really your own feelings, your own view of the world, and seeing our situation and the commonalities and being like, I can get better, because you can. Your potential, like the supernatural ability that Scotty was just talking about, is really like what's the human potential?
Yeah.
What can we achieve? What can, like, any human being? What's the highest? I don't think anyone's ever really gotten there. But if you look at, like, there's some great people that have really chased their potential in different areas of life that have done some miraculous things. Look at people like the Dalai Lama, right? That have done great, powerful things that are everlasting in the world. Like, he was just a man that what he did, anybody else could have done as well, right?
Yeah.
And then you look at like if you look at like a physical sense, the first person, I can't remember his name, but the first person that broke the 4 minute mile, right?
Well,
When
yeah,
they
I
were
was
able,
talking about that.
say what?
I was gonna say that.
Yeah, like
He set a new baseline.
yeah, he set a new baseline. Like everyone said it could not be done, but once he did it, now it becomes possible. Now more people are doing it.
Yeah. There's like a
David
week after
Goggins,
that. I think like 10 people did it like right after him.
yeah,
But they didn't think it was physically possible. And as soon as someone hit that thing, all right, new baseline. Okay, now can we get to 350? Is there a 350 mile? And then it just creates these new baselines, which pushes the envelope of evolution of what the potential is.
yeah. And if you're not chasing your potential, if you're staying still, if you're wasting your life away, just be like, well, I'm waiting for Friday so I can go to the local watering hole and go hang out with the kiddos or the boys or the girls and just drink and be wasteful. Like, you do that every single week, and then all you do all week is you think about getting back out there and doing it again and wasting more money. Like, you're not growing as a person, and everything in life is either growing or it's dying. Look at any plant, right? That's the basic. This is the basic of life, right?
Yeah,
If a plant is not growing, it is dying. Period.
literally. Yeah.
If you as a person are not growing, you are dying. You're
100%.
sitting in a rut. You're waiting to die. And the only difference between a rut and a grave is the depth of the hole. Period.
I love that quote. That's a good one.
So and that's the truth. And when you realize that, and I'm telling you, when it hits you and you're like, shit, I'm just wasting my life away. That's when that internal change will come. And it is hard. Change is challenging.
Yeah. But you have to realize it for yourself. That's like the biggest thing. Like I had a sibling and he was unfortunately a drug addict, and I would try to like help him out, pull him out of it, stop him from doing drugs, and he never wanted the help. So it pushed him deeper down that hole, which eventually he got out of it, but it was because he wanted to make the change. It was never because I saw his potential and was like trying to pull him out of that hole he was in. He had to realize that, like, okay, it's been like 2 years. I've spent $400,000 on pills, and now I have no money. I have no job. I'm developing diabetes. I have like liver issues. Like all these things are starting to happen. Like now I need to change. He had to hit a rock bottom for him to be like, holy shit, I need to change. Which sometimes someone has to go through that. Yeah. But I mean, you don't have to let your rock bottom be a rock bottom. Like it can be like a small pivot, and you can be like, that's my rock bottom. We're going up from here. You know what I mean?
That's so true. That's so true. Everyone's rock bottom is different, right? And I don't care how deep your rock bottom is. Somebody else has hit deeper, right? and come out of it and been more successful.
Yeah.
Look at Eric Thomas. He was living homeless on the streets, eating out of dumpsters, and now he's like one of the most famous hip hop preacher, one of the most famous public speakers, the highest paid public speakers in the world. Yeah. Living on the damn streets, bro.
I know. Tyler Perry was the same.
Yeah.
Dude was homeless for years, and now he's like, isn't he the wealthiest black man in America?
If not, he's close.
Yeah, dude. I mean, like,
so
it's all about potential, man. It's about tapping in, changing your mindset, making changes in your habits, and just like pushing through and winning the day. That's something Annie talks about all the time, and that's what I focus on, which is like pushed me and push the envelope, because instead of looking up the mountain, you just look at your feet and you're like, all right, one step, one step, one step. And those steps, eventually you just start climbing the mountain. And the next thing you know, you look back and you're halfway up the mountain. You're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like 2 months ago, I was looking up this thing and I thought I could never get up here. And now I'm halfway up. Like, let's just keep going. You don't
even realize it.
Yeah.
Because we drastically overestimate how much we think we can accomplish in a short amount of time, like a 1 month, 6 month, 1 year, but we drastically underestimate how much we will actually accomplish as long as we're consistent over like a year, 2 year, 3 years.
Yeah. I think the problem with it is like these flash in the pan success stories. Mm-hmm. Like they hear about these kids that have these like drop shipping Amazon stores, and they'll make like $100,000 a month, like, and they'll do it in like 2 months. And you're like, well, all right, well, these are like new measurements of success. Like if I don't have a Lambo by the time I'm 24 years old, I'm a fucking loser. And that's not even true. There's like a very few amount of humans in the world that even achieve these things. And then they perpetuate it online, which sells this like lie of like a fast like upbringing and like making a lot of money really fast. And it rarely happens realistically. Mm-hmm. I know a couple people that have done that, but most people, dude, it's all the long game. Most people win by 20 years of being in business, not a year and a half. Like it never happens in a year and a half. Maybe you're an anomaly, but like you're few and far in between. I feel like for every like one kid that makes that much money, there's like a million kids in between, you know?
No, you're absolutely right, man. It's the long game. It's consistency. It's building those daily disciplines, the daily habits. And here's the thing, man. You're still going to have challenging days. You're still going to have challenges. It's still going to be difficult. Your ability to overcome it is easier because you've already done it before, right? Exactly. You've already like beat the challenge. Like the first time you say no to friends to go drinking, it'll be very difficult. Like you'll really want to do it. The 10th time that you say no, you're gonna be like, dude, I already said no. Whatever. Like I'm not drinking anymore.
Right? Well, by the 10th time, they're probably not going to ask you.
They're probably going to ask you, right? But it doesn't mean that you may not, like, you may be driving around and then one day you stop somewhere and you go somewhere and you sit down, and you look over and there's someone having a whiskey, and you're like, man, kind of want a whiskey right now. Like out of nowhere, you just feel it. You're just like, man, I'd like to have whiskey. And like, no one's here watching. It's okay. Like I can just have one. I'll be all right. Like I've went without it for a while. Believe me, I've had those days. I'm like, man, I really want to have a whiskey. And then I'm just like, nope, that's a bitch voice.
Yeah.
That's don't be no, Greg, shut the hell up. You ain't drinking that,
Yeah.
or like, and it's not out so much alcohol for me. It's really more food.
Yeah.
And
Same.
dude, it's if I smell some potatoes that are frying, I'm like, oh, bro,
Same.
bro,
Dude.
man, some bread, some potatoes. I'm in. I'm like, dude, I
Yeah.
just want to put my face in that right now. It's
I've
and
always
like
been
I
a
have,
sweets guy.
dude, I have those days, and I've failed on some days. I've had some
Yeah,
challenging
fine.
days where I've been like, oh, F it. I've had a bad day. Like I'm treating myself or whatever. Like I need to have something to like. I need to have some carbs,
Yeah.
and then afterwards I feel like shit. I'm like, man, why did I do that? Why did I
Yeah.
do that? And then I'm like
And
getting back up. All right, we're getting back on this. We're starting back over.
dude, yeah, that's there's a phrase that my coach says, and it is regrets your guideline. So when you have those feelings of regret, that is basically your conscious being like, hey, bro, this is the guideline here where we're going to navigate you out of this because you keep coming back to this. And we're going to keep this, we're going to perpetuate this feeling until you understand that this is not where you need to be. And we need to
Mhm.
put you on this path that's going to take you to where you want to go. So regret being your guideline. If you make a decision and afterwards regret it, use that as the guideline moving forward so that next time that scenario happens again, which it will,
Yep.
you know how to navigate it. And that's the guideline that's going to move you like where out of the situation and on to what it is you're trying to do.
I think a lot of the challenge is that when people have those negative emotions, the regret, the pain, the fear, anxiety, all those negative emotions, they don't actually sit in it and accept it, right,
No,
for what it is,
they
and
bury it.
they bury it, they ignore it, they try to move on, and they try to mask it, right, with other, and just push it aside and not think about it. But that's a good key point because what your coach is basically saying is like when you have that regret, it's telling you something,
Exactly.
and it's actually this is a way of the universe trying to guide you where you're supposed to go. And
Exactly.
that those feelings of regret are those signs that are sending you like you're not meant to go down this path. You need to identify this and accept it for what it is, and in order to come to terms with it and realize like, hey, I don't want to feel this way again. Here's the actions I'm going to take. So now I know I can link this activity with this feeling, and I've done the work to process this and the internal work. So now I know I'm not going to do these things because I don't want to have these feelings come and surface up again. Right.
100%. Yeah.
It's that's like the way of the universe kind of guiding you and guiding your action. So if you're waking up, by the way, I know because, and I can talk about this because this was me. If you're waking up with anxiety, if you're waking up with depression and unhappy where you're at, unhappy about the way you look, unhappy about where your business is at, all those things, that's because of the actions that you're doing on a daily basis and the activities that are like not in alignment with your purpose and your passion in life. They're not in alignment with who you truly are. You're lying to, you're living a fucking lie. And you haven't identified this and you're ignoring those feelings. And then you're also probably covering them with alcohol. You're covering them with more alcohol, more partying, more food. You're eating your feelings away. And if you sit in those feelings and you let them like, and you identify why they're coming there, they'll tell you why. And the path will be clear. But you got to do the work, man.
Exactly. Man, that was great, Greg. You had me sucked in there, dude.
I appreciate it.
I feel like I'm getting coached right now. It's really nice. I'm
I
like, oh
appreciate
man,
it.
he's firing off.
Yeah, man. I just sometimes I get passionate about this, bro. I do.
Yeah, same. I get
It
passionate about it in real life. It's easy for me to really just like fully animate myself and like be completely immersed in the whole subject
Yeah.
with people, which is like instead of going to the bars, I do this at the gym. I go to people at the gym or like if I'm out like skating or surfing or something like that, I just go up to everybody. I'm like, what's good, bro? How you doing? Let me sit like I saw you doing this, like what about that? And like I try to coach people in real life in real time. And that's like my way of staying social, putting myself in situations where I get to like help people, and that inevitably will help me understand me better in the world.
Mhm.
So
And also just make an impact, hopefully.
yeah, it always do. I always try to impact people, whether it's like I mean, always positively, sometimes negatively. Sometimes I tell people the hard truths that they necessarily don't want to hear.
Yeah.
But I know that every time I tell them those hard truths, they later come to me and they're like, fuck, bro, you were right.
So
For all
there's always those conversations. I mean, I think everybody has within their life, they can have that conversation that they don't want to hear, but they need to hear.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's the good thing with 75 hard is that it's like a bullshit detector. And it's like an extreme bullshit detector on yourself. And so it almost teaches you a new language that you can translate other people's bullshit really quickly. And you
So
you you identify it real quick. And so you
bad.
hear all the excuses and all the things they're saying. And so no, I'm the same way. Like I became very, and I try to do, when I first came out of 75 Hard, I was just like, "You're a fucking bitch!" Like it's
Yeah.
like stop being a bitch and get to work. Not that crazy, but it was a little too blunt.
More internally.
Yeah, it was very very blunt, right?
Yeah.
And what I found is that over time, that if I need to deliver that message, is I can ask now the right questions to get them to give me the answers I know they're going to give me.
Yeah.
So there's almost like a self-realization.
Yeah.
And then I can say, "Hey, this is what I see.
Yeah.
This is what I see. I see that and try to do like the old shit sandwich. I think you have a lot of potential based on everything that you've done. You've done great things. You're stifling your potential by doing these actions, which are causing you all these negative emotions in your life. It's causing this anxiety, it's causing this regret, it's causing this pain that's preventing you from tapping back into that potential that you'd already tapped into and really taking your life and seeing what greatness lies at the other end." Right. So you have a choice. You can decide to keep doing these things and keep living in this way, or you can decide to make a change, as painful as that might be, and you can start changing and you can chase your greatness within. That's up to you though, right? And
Choose
now
your
I can deliver that message just a little bit better to where it's a little more palatable.
nice.
And so because it's always about the message and how it's delivered, right? If as long as the people are, if somebody's getting that message,
Yeah.
and that's the point, you don't have to come in and be like, "Yo, bro, you're making these stupid decisions. You're being a bitch. That's why you're living a bitch life. All right, so stop being a bitch and start being a fucking boss, bro. All right,
Yeah.
start being disciplined. Like get to work."
Oh man. Yeah, no.
He's laughing because he's probably had the same exact thoughts as that. Like it's
Dude, yeah, all the time. Well, because that's my self-talk. That's how I talk to myself.
yeah,
I'm really harsh. I mean, I think everyone's pretty self-deprecating naturally.
yeah,
I mean, as you move through life and you make decisions, you're like, damn, that was really stupid, or like, why am I such an idiot? Oh man, like, and it usually cascades down like an entire depressive state where you just like talk shit to yourself, make yourself feel bad, which makes you like not walk with confidence and not like projecting the person you want to be.
mhm,
And that lack of, everyone sees it and you think you're hiding it by like huddling down and like staying in the back. But everyone notices those kinds of things. And like, it's just a decision away and it's a mindset shift. Like you can make a bad decision and be like, all right, noted, that was a poor decision. Moving forward, I'm not going to do that. But like you can't let it eat you alive.
yeah.
It's just got to be like a blip in the road, or I guess like a pivot you need to take as you're navigating through every scenario in your life, But yeah, when I talk to my clients, I kind of talk shit to them and they kind of like it. They're like, fuck, this guy, like he's telling me all the things I've been saying to myself, but hearing it from a third person or from an outside perspective really solidifies that like this change needs to happen. Because
Yeah.
I've noticed, like, dude, I'm kind of getting tits, like my stomach's starting to like fill up a little bit. Like maybe I should start dieting and stuff. And then when I come on there and I'm like, yo, bro, you got bitch tits and you look fat. Like, let's change this. It's like a slap in the face. And they're like, oh shit. Okay. Yeah. Everything is affirmed. Let me change because like, there's no way out of this except by going up from here,
Yeah. It
So,
almost, it shows them, it really brightly shows the light in the rock bottom hole they're in.
oh yeah.
It's like,
For
that's
sure.
what it does. And
Yeah.
like some people can't handle it.
No.
And be honest, like if you can't handle it, then you're probably you're not the one paying for coaching. So you may be listening to like, oh wow, I wouldn't want Scotty saying that to me. It's like, well, you're not paying for coaching. That's why, because you don't want
Exactly.
someone to come and tell you the fucking truth. You
Yeah.
probably also surround yourself with a bunch of fucking other bitches. They're like, you're beautiful. You're a beautiful soul. Yeah, no, let's go ahead for a drink. Like, and they're
Yeah.
just perpetuating that behavior. So
Oh yeah. That's exactly what it is. I mean, like
yeah,
I have friends that like I kind of like naturally will do coaching with them and they hate it. And because of that, they've alienated themselves from me because they're like, dude, you're too gnarly. And I'm like, bro, it's just the truth. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, do you want me to lie to you? I'm not, dude, if I'm lying to you, we're not friends.
Yeah, exactly. If
I'm lying to you, I don't care about you.
Yeah.
If I'm telling you the truth, I fucking care. That's why I'm telling you the truth. Because you can't handle it doesn't mean it's my problem. It's your problem that I'm pointing out so you can solve it to make you better. It's super simple.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to like be mean. I'm just like, bro, like, let's get better. Like, it's like, come on. What are we doing? What's the point of this whole thing that we're doing, which is life? Do you want to get better? You want to get worse? Because if you want to get worse, I'll see you later.
Yeah.
You know, it's that. I mean, and I operate with, I love that. Like when someone's yelling at me, I'm like, fuck, this guy's right. All right, we're going.
I'm the same way, bro. I am the same way. If someone's looking at me and be like, Greg, even if I did like, even if like on the scale of comparison of like me versus like the average human being,
yeah.
And it's like, dude, you succeeded really well. Like you did better than 99% of people. But someone else is like, dude, Greg, you still fucked up. You could have done this, that. I'm like, fuck, you're right. Like, man, I gotta get so much better.
Oh, yeah.
I would rather that
than
point that shit out because that's how we grow. That's how we get better.
Exactly. You're driven.
Yeah.
And usually it's like constructive criticism. I'm like, hey, bro, you're fat. Let's get you a macro plan. Here is a simple fitness structure because you lack structure. That's why you got fat, bro. Yeah. You're not fat because your genetics. You're not fat because of your mom or whatever. I mean, your environment's pretty big. Like I know people that have had partners who were larger than them, and now they're also large because of the comfort. You fall right into it. You become who you're surrounded with, and it's just like it engulfs you, and it's really hard to escape that. Which is why I've alienated myself from like drinking and smoking and like all that shit. But yeah, so like, man, I totally lost my train of thought. So sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. So you're talking about the environment, the people that you're with. It has a big impact, and like it can have an effect in the way that your body is. Hey, man, you hang out with 5 drug dealers, you're gonna be the 6th.
Exactly.
If you hang out with 5 obese people, you're going to be the 6th. You hang out with 5 millionaires, you're probably going to be the 6th. You hang out with 5 people that are like all competing to go perform on stage for bodybuilding, you're probably going to be the 6th. Yeah. Like you are a product of your environment.
Dude, yeah, which is why it's super key to like choose the right people. And if you don't have the right people, become the right person. Yeah. And you can become that right person by being coached. Yeah. If you obviously want to get better and you don't know how to get better, listen, you can like go through the internet, look at all the diets, try every fad, try every workout plan, do all these things. But if you don't have the mindset, nothing is going to come to fruition.
And you're probably like when people do that, they're just looking for the cheat code. They're like, well, which one's going to work for me? It doesn't matter. Just pick one and fucking move forward and commit. Just pick one and commit. Okay. Exactly. They all work. There's not one diet that's better than the other. It's all calories in, calories out.
Exactly.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
That's it. So
it's simple math.
Yeah, it's simple math. You already know what to do. Just do it. Just commit and do it. And don't sit there and ask a bunch of questions because all you're doing is you're looking for that right answer that's going to solidify something like, oh, yeah, this is going to be the easiest route for you. There is no easy route. It's just going to be work. Get to work, fucking do it, change your life, right? And when it comes to being around, there's 2 things here when it comes to your individual and then hanging around with the right people, right? One is think about it like this. I saw this reel a long time ago. It was 6 months ago, something like that. And I'd recently at that time, I just broken up with a girlfriend, or she'd broken up with me. And she, at the time, she was like, you're too hard. And I'm a dude, the way I'm talking to you now is the way I talk to people I love, where I'm just like, hey, stop doing this bullshit, right? Yeah. This fucking ruin your life. Like, and that's the way I talk to her because she would like fucking drink too much and she'd do all this stuff. And I just like, why are you doing that? Like, you're wasting your life away. There's so much more potential. And I was trying to get her to do a 75 hard all over and over. She did it one time and then she just fell right off, started eating bullshit, started stop reading, do all this stuff. And so I was like commenting about it, right? And she would get mad. She'd be like, you're judging me. I was like, there's no judgment. It's zero judgment. I've been there before. Yeah. It's just that I expect more of you because you're in my sphere.
Exactly. Right?
I expect you to like want to level up and be a part of this, right?
Raise your standards.
And so I saw this reel, and it was like, hey, when you're in a relationship, and this can be a romantic relationship, or this can be like personal relationship with friends or whatever. But you have you have the axe and you have the wood, right? And there's the concept that iron sharpens iron. So when you're with other people that are axes, what happens when two axes hit each other is they sharpen and they get harder. So when you're with another fucking winner that has driven, that's motivated, that wants to better the life, and you guys are like hitting each other, and you're like, dude, you could have fucking done better. What you're doing is you're both sharpening each other, right?
Exactly.
What happens when an axe hits wood, right?
Raise it.
It breaks the wood and the axe becomes dull.
Of course. Yeah. Literally.
It literally becomes dull. So you actually become more dull. It doesn't matter how hard you fucking are. Doesn't matter how much driven you are. But when you surround yourself with a bunch of pieces of wood, you're going to damage those people, and then you're going to become dull, and you're going to start lowering your standards.
And then you're going to become wood.
And then you're going to become wood over time. It's just going to happen. It's going to happen. And so understanding that. And so when you think about like, well, how do I know these right people? Here's what I can tell you. Is just like with an individual, like a lot of times people don't understand, like, who am I supposed to be? What is my purpose? What's this? Like, what do I believe in? It's easier to remove what you don't want and what you don't believe in than to try to say, this is what I believe in sometimes, right? Because you haven't done the inner work. No. So think about it like you are a sculptor that's literally chipping away clay, chipping away the rock to get the picture within of who you are. You're removing the things out of your life that you know that you don't align with. And it's easier to find those things. So you do that as an individual, and then you start doing that with your social circle. You start removing the people. When you go out with them and you have this like, I don't really want to do this, you probably need to remove those people from your life. It doesn't mean that you have to hate them. That doesn't mean that you don't have to, like, you're like, I'm never talking to them again. You can still talk to them. But when they want to go party and drink, and you're like, hey, I'm removing alcohol from my life, I'm not going to go party and drink. You guys have fun though, right? Yeah. No judgment, right? No. And just remove those things. And what's going to happen is that as you stay steady and steadfast in what you believe in, and your life changes, you will literally hit a higher resonation of energy. You will resonate. People will see it. They will feel it when they talk to you, when you're around them, and they're going to be like, dude, you're different.
Yeah.
What is with light? Yeah. Like, you seem happier. You seem healthier. Like, what are you doing? And you're like, dude, I'm just fucking working on myself, bro. I'm just doing some study for hard. I took alcohol in my life. I'm way more productive. I'm enjoying my business. This is all this. And people, the right people will be attracted. The right people that want some of that see that, like, that glow within you, or that increase and that positivity that resonates from you. They're going to be like, I want a piece of that too.
Yeah.
And they're going to follow, and you're going to end up inspiring and changing lives.
Dude. Yeah. You can become, Sean Whalen.
Yeah.
He has the quote of the lighthouse, like, be the lighthouse.
Yeah, be the lighthouse. Exactly. Be the light. Instead of trying to be the tugboat that's going out and saving people, stay still. This is who I am. This is what I'm doing. And you can light the way for so many more tugboats that are trying to come through and get safe passage and become better versions of themselves. You can light the way. If they don't make it, it's not on you, bro. You don't have to go save them. Like, you can't save everybody. If they don't pay attention to the light and they crash into the rocks, ain't shit you can do. They are responsible for their own lives.
Exactly.
I learned that the hard way, man, because I've got to save your complex. I'll tell you what, like, I do want to save everybody. And I'm like, because I see potential in people, and I don't know what it's always been there since I was in the military. And I can like sometimes see potential in somebody that they don't see in themselves. And I'm like, I see something great in you that, like, you don't even believe right now, but I fucking see it. And I want to pull it out, and I want to help them, and I want to save them. And then they don't do it. And then I get depressed because I'm like, I fucking failed. And I didn't fail. I can't save everybody.
No. Yeah. I mean, just all you can do is just try to do what you can do best. Show people through your actions what you're capable of doing and what you think is the best to do. Mm-hmm. And they'll emulate it. If not immediately, the repetition of seeing you do the positive things to yourself and to your brain and to your life, it will A, attract the right people, and B, the people around you will be like, oh shit, like, Greg's not drinking anymore. Maybe, like, he looks happier. He's definitely, like, working out more. And he's looking pretty hot. Like maybe I should do that because my wife's kind of getting disinterested. Or like my girlfriend's starting to like look around when we go out places and stuff like that. Like you can easily just do it, show it through your actions. You don't even have to talk to people about it. You can just be like, no, I'm not doing that. And then go do your thing. And they'll be like, what's up with Greg? He's like going on a run, dude. I thought we were going to get beers. And those things, they incubate and they get digested in people's subconscious over time. So they might not see it immediately, but the more you act and the more you do and the more you show, the more likely they're going to follow. So that's like the whole like being the beacon of light thing. So yeah, it's great. I mean, I've done it with my friends and like my people in my life. Unfortunately, not so much like my family. They kind of like have always talked shit on me for like trying to be better and stuff, which I'm just like, whatever, but you guys are fucking losers. I'm gonna like go figure it out. I love them, obviously. I'm just joking, but like I just use that in my own head because I'm just like, well, dude, all right, well, if you guys don't want to change and you don't want to get better, then I'm just gonna show you what it's like to change and how much better I'm going to be.
Yeah.
And it always, from what I've seen from people that are above me on the totem pole, it always transpires in a very uplifting, positive experience for everybody else in the ecosystem.
So like if for and what I'll tell you is here's a real world application of this is that in my company in Delta, all of the leadership and like that all the staff, none of us drink.
Good.
None of us drink. And almost all of us have either completed or started an attempt at 75 hard. In fact, every single person has started and attempted 75 hard, and 60% of us have completed it. And it started with me.
Requirement.
It started with me, and I don't make it, but they see, especially when I've started at 75 hard on a new round and I'm starting to get in that mode and like I'm hitting my alignment phase and I'm hitting like the focus is coming in and they're like, dude, Greg's on fucking fire.
Yeah.
And then they want a piece of it. And so I had one of my agency owners, Joey, he was for the longest time, he was like, dude, I'm not doing that shit. Like I like to drink and this, that, the other. And I talk to people and like, this is how I communicate, blah, blah. And so he finally did it and he finally started and he was like, he's on like day 6 right now, like as we're recording right now. By the time it airs, hopefully he'll be done. But he looked at me, he's like, dude, I didn't drink this weekend. And he was like, and I feel great.
Really?
He's like day 6, day 7. I think right now he's day 7. And he was like, dude, I feel great. He's like, it's weird. Like I didn't even have an inkling. And so I told him, I was like, dude, you think day 7, you think like this is, I was like, wait till day 40. Wait till day 45. Wait till 50. I was like, shit's going to start happening that you're not going to be able to explain. You're going to be like, fuck, this is different. You're going to feel superhuman, bro.
Dude, yeah, you're not even going to realize, you're not even going to know who you were 2-3 months ago. You're going to be like, who is old Greg? New Greg is way cooler than old Greg, like by far.
I'm telling you, man, it's a transformation. Dude, this has been a great conversation. I like your energy, Scotty.
Yes, dude. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
I like your energy a lot. So really quickly, because we've just been chatting and talking shit for a long time. And I don't want to take up too much more of your time. I think I want to have you back. I definitely
let's do it, bro. Let's do it.
Because this has been fantastic.
Yeah.
But tell me a little bit about your coaching business and how did you get in coaching? And if anybody is interested in kind of learning from you and doing coaching with you, how could they connect with you in order to learn more?
So you can connect with me on Instagram. It's Scotty Able, SCOTTYABLE. I got into coaching because I wanted a coach. I hired a coach. He trained me and was just like, dude, listen, like you've overcome so many things in your life. You've overcome adversities, like everything that you've ever accomplished, you can transfer out and teach other people exactly how you did it. Because I was an overweight little kid. I was poor with my finances. I never took care of myself. I smoked cigs. I drank. I did all the negative things that were obviously detrimental to my health and to my life, and overcame them through personal development. And he was like, dude, this is going to be an easy, it's not even a sell because you're literally just helping people. He was like, just help people the way that you helped you. And it's going to be day and night how much of an impact you're going to make on these people's lives. So I customize macronutrient plans, fitness plans, and then we do mindset coaching one-on-one every weekend. I call you, we do FaceTime or it's Zoom call. As it grows, we'll do like big Zoom calls with like the entire team, but we just like go through, you guys ask me questions, I help coach you through them, and everybody gets to learn in real time exactly how to do it, what to do. You can solve all your problems, or we can just like, you know, kind of, you can rinse out what happened through the week, places you fucked up on, where you learned, and like how you can get better. So it's just kind of like a nice ecosystem for everyone to like feel welcome, feel loved, and like feel like they can all get better, because that's like the whole point of what coaching is for. You're not hiring me to like coddle you and keep you a little pussy. You're hiring me to harden you and make you a better you. So that's like what I do.
Dude, I fucking love it. So the last question I ask all my guests is: you have the opportunity to sit with, learn from, break bread with, just have a good conversation with 3 individuals, anyone in history, living or deceased. Who would those 3 people be and why?
I mean, dude, all the most influential people in my life would be Tony Robbins, Andy Frisella, and Ed Milet. It's all people that are currently alive. You can go listen to them and learn from them right now. Yeah. They have had by far the biggest impact on me, tenfold to anybody else that's ever existed. I appreciate and love and adore everything they've ever discussed and talked about. They give all this free knowledge that's helped me navigate my life so much better. And I can't thank them enough for it. So those are definitely the 3 people that I would do anything to like have lunch with, pretty much.
Are you an Arte?
I was in the first one, but I'm not currently. No.
Okay, I'm in Arte.
Oh, nice. Yeah. How are you in the syndicate or are you in the accelerator?
I'm in Arte syndicate.
Okay, cool. Nice. Because there's like the tier below, and then there's the syndicate. Yeah. Are you going to go to the one in St. Louis?
I'm not actually. I signed up. It's the same date as my marathon. I said this year, I was like, look, I'm doing a marathon. Never done one before. I was like, I'm doing a marathon. It's April 22nd in Nashville. April 22nd, 23rd. So I'm not going to be able to make it. So
bummer, man. Fuck.
Yeah. So
there's 2 a year, right? 2 live events?
There's 2 live events a year now.
Okay, cool. You can get the next one.
For those of you watching, this has been the most candid and transformational conversation that I've had in a long time, and I'm fucking pumped. I'm just telling you right now. You guys got to go back and listen to this, because Scotty and I were dropping some fucking nuggets, all right? Don't do yourself a disservice and listen to your bitch voice and be like, well, fuck, like you're being kind of rough. No, we're being honest. You know why? Because we went through the same fucking shit that you've been through before, okay? I've been that fucking, the wasteful, fat, lazy, drinking all the time, depressed, taking antidepressants in order to numb the pain. I've been there, okay? If you start changing your daily habits and just having those daily wins, and you focus on the discipline, I promise you can change your fucking life. You can change everything, and you can tap into a potential that's far greater than anything you ever imagined possible. And so if you got anything from this, if you learn anything, if you get any value, if it changed your perspective, or if it even entertained you, Scotty and I just shooting the shit, then do me a favor. I want you to share this content with somebody else that can learn something, that can also grow, and you can impact their life just by sharing this content. It takes you 60 seconds to rate, review, subscribe, and possibly share, but it means the world to Scotty and I. This has been the Be the Difference podcast. I'm your host, Greg Birch. Until next time, we'll see you.